Isang magandang bagong Pilipinas. Ngayon ay Biyernes, January 10, 2025. Diretsahang usapan ng mahalagang issue sa bansa kasama ang kinatawan ng mga ahensya ng pamahalaan. Mula sa Presidential Communications Office, ako po si Joey Villarama.
Mula rin sa Presidential Communications Office, ako po si Weng Hidalgo. Ihatid namin ang mga programa at serbisyo para sa taong bayan.
Tutok lang, narito na ang bagong Pilipinas ngayon. Turismo ang isa sa mahalagang sektor na nagpapaunlad ng ekonomiya ng isang bansa. Kaya naman tatalakayin natin ang pagsisikap ng pamahalaang iangat ang turismo ng Pilipinas kasama ang kalihim ng Department of Tourism na si Secretary Christina Frasco. Magandang tanghali, Sec, at welcome po to the program.
Magandang tanghali, Joey and Weng. Happy New Year
Happy
sa
New
inyo
Year.
at sa lahat ng ating mga kababayan na nanonood ngayon.
Ma'am, simulan siguro natin with updates from the agency. Noong Martes ay nagkaroon ng full cabinet meeting for the first such meeting for 2025. At may nabanggit ang Pangulo na sana kahit po nawala ng pondo ang ilang proyekto ng maraming ahensya mailapit natin dun sa NEP yung budget para sa mga projects ng mga ahensya. So, ano po yung mga tinamaan o nabawasan ng pondo na proyekto ng DOT at paano natin masusolusyonan ito?
The most affected by the change from the NEP to the GAA would be the budget for branding and promotions of the Philippines to our markets all over the world. Dahil sa NEP, ay yung budget nito ay around 500 million. But when the GAA was released, it has been reduced to 100 million. The challenge of a very limited funding for branding and promotions is the difficulty of making sure na yung presensya ng Pilipinas sa consciousness ng mga potential travelers in markets around the world is always there.
Pag sinasabi po nating branding and promotions, ito yung pag-promote ng Love the Philippines campaign. So, paano po ba natin ipinopromote ang bansa natin ng turismo sa bansa? Kasi alam natin within the Philippines or inside the Philippines, nakakakita tayo ng posters, may TV ads, may print ads. Pero sa labas, paano po natin pinopromote ang Pilipinas?
Joey, what will be affected by this is not just the Love the Philippines campaign, but our destinations itself that are ultimately the recipients of the promotions that are being done by the Department of Tourism. We anticipate that it will affect tourism arrivals, considering that the lesser opportunity that we have to market the Philippines, the lesser chances that there are to reach as many markets or as many people as we wish. On the other hand, dahil patuloy yung ating pagpursige na ma-promote talaga yung Pilipinas sa buong mundo, in various jurisdictions, we have continued our global campaign for Love the Philippines. Umabot na po ito sa United States, Europe, many areas of Asia, even the Middle East, and the like. And we are executing the Love the Philippines campaign and the promotion of our islands, destinations, and tourism products by way of traditional marketing, ad placements, meron din tayong executions with globally recognized multimedia platforms as well as social media. Kasali na rin dun yung mga billboard executions natin.
Ito excited po ako sa tanong na to kasi ramdam na po yung significant progress ng recovery ng tourism sa bansa matapos yung pandemya. So gaano kalaki yung tourism revenue ng bansa nitong nakaraang taon, nitong 2024, at gaano ito kalaki kumpara naman nung 2023?
Well, the good news is that Philippine tourism was able to garner an all-time high in visitor revenues from our international tourists at around over 760 billion pesos. This represents an over 9% increase from our 2023 visitor revenues and a 126% recovery from the 600 billion visitor receipts in 2019.
Pero hindi po siya yun sa dami nung bumisita. Mas kukonti ang pumunta, pero mas malaki ang kita.
And yun naman talaga, yung napaka-importante na kailangan natin bigyan ng pansin. Magkano ba yung kinikita ng ating bansa sa turismo? Magkano ba yung pumupunta sa ating mga kababayan, our small and medium enterprises, our tourism stakeholders, our employees, direct and indirect in tourism? The answer to that is very encouraging because nakikita natin na in comparison with our ASEAN neighbors, yung tourism spend per capita sa Pilipinas by our international visitors is over $2,000 US dollars, which ranks us very high in terms of spending. On the other hand, yung 760 billion in international visitor receipts shows that economically, our recovery in Philippine tourism performance has already exceeded our pre-pandemic numbers. I understand though na syempre nagko-compare tayo. Ilan na ba yung dumating sa Pilipinas? Ilan na ba yung dumating sa ibang bansa, especially in the ASEAN? And we understand that this comparison is made because that has always been the traditional way of measuring tourism performance. But let us consider the other numbers that directly affect the lives of the Filipino people. Revenues as well as tourism employment. Yung sa tourism employment naman, napakagandang balita from the Philippine Statistics Authority, which conducted a labor force survey in the first quarter of 2024 and found that tourism employs directly and indirectly over 16.4 million Filipinos. Lahat ng mga tao na ito ay nakakabenepisyo sa turismo and the related services that feed into tourism, pati na rin po yung kanilang mga pamilya.
You yourself said, ma'am, sa year-end assessment po yata ng DOT na it's quality, not quantity. Kasi yun nga ang gaya nga ng nabasa natin at yung mga naiulat, binabase kasi sa tourist arrivals. Pero as you said, merong other important numbers like tourism employment, yung revenue, among other things. So,
Joey, let me be clear that we are firm in our commitment to ensure that we continue to increase tourism arrivals in the country. But I think it is also important to highlight the challenges that the Philippines faced, which then led to our numbers not reaching the targeted projections for 2024. Yung 7.7 million arrivals. Yung dumating, 5.9 million arrivals. Nobody could have anticipated that geopolitics would ultimately seep into arrivals from China, considering that the electronic visas for the Chinese market were suspended. And this is in stark contrast to the policies of our ASEAN neighbors, kung saan either hindi na kailangan ng visa from China, Chinese visitors, or pwede yung visas on arrival. So napakalaking challenge nito kasi originally yung pinroject namin ay upwards to 2 million yung dadating na Chinese tourists. Yung dumating lang by the end of 2024 was a little over 300,000. So this negative recovery has greatly impacted our ability to reach the targeted projections. On the other hand, yung budget din natin for promotions was vastly reduced. In 2023, yung budget for branding and marketing was 1.2 billion. In 2024, nabawasan siya ng 1 billion. So 200 million na lang. And so in the wake of these challenges and many other matters beyond our control, nagpursige tayo, we diversified our tourism products, we focused on our top source markets, and we made sure na mataas yung tourism spending.
Nabanggit niyo yung geopolitical issue, Sec, in relation to Chinese tourists. So, may effect po ba yung pagsasara ng POGO hubs dito sa bansa doon din sa pagpasok ng Chinese tourists?
Well, I can only speak to the raw data that has been provided to us on the basis of the arrivals themselves. And without drawing conclusions, the clear difference between the Chinese arrivals in the pandemic, which exceeded 1 million, and the Chinese arrivals as of 2024, which is a little over 300,000, would show that the barriers to entry into the Philippines, including and chiefly the suspension of the electronic visa, gravely affected the Chinese market for the Philippines.
Sec, if we cannot capture or recapture the Chinese market, ano po yung ibang bansa naman na pwede nating itap? Kasi I understand among the tourists that come in are from South Korea, obviously from the United States. Sino pa yung pwede nating ma-encourage to come to the Philippines?
Well, South Korea continues to be our #1 source market, and so we are doubling down on our efforts to ensure na mas madadagdagan pa yung mga tourists natin from South Korea. Kasama na din dyan yung ating mga turista from the United States, especially with the new direct flights that have been mounted from the US that include San Francisco to Manila, Seattle to Manila, and the like. Kasali din dyan yung Japan dahil napaka-encouraging ng tourism statistics from Japan coming into the country, and napakadami nating mga tourism products that are attractive specifically to the Japanese market. Of course, we are very grateful that tourists from Australia are now trooping to the Philippines in appreciation of our award-winning islands and destinations. And syempre, yung tinitingnan natin na large opportunity for the Philippines is India. And we are grateful that the President has directed that an electronic visa or electronic travel authority option may be explored for the Indian market, and we are hopeful that the Department of Foreign Affairs and the Bureau of Immigration can mount that for this year.
Very
So, pwedeng,
interesting
oo.
yung nabanggit ni Sec about Japan kasi nung
Yes.
holiday season, ang daming Pilipinong pumunta sa Japan. Reciprocal naman pala. Maraming Japanese na gustong
Actually, we
pumunta
were in
dito.
Cebu last week. Koreans and Japanese yung na-encounter namin doon sa mga pinuntahan namin. Anyway, ma'am, kung halimbawa mas kukonti nga yung dumadating na mga turista, pero marami po tayong domestic tourist. So, isa po yun sa nakaka-contribute doon sa revenue. Kumusta po ba ang domestic tourism sa atin ngayon?
You know, I really feel that domestic tourism is not given as much credit as it should. The reality is that napakalaki ng contribution ng ating mga domestic tourists sa turismo ng Pilipinas. As a matter of fact, according to the World Travel and Tourism Council, yung Pilipinas daw yung #1 in terms of the domestic tourism market in the ASEAN. They value domestic tourism for the Philippines at over $66 billion. And with that, we are very optimistic for the further growth of the domestic tourism market, especially now na yung focus ng Department of Tourism, unang-una ay magbigay ng equal opportunities sa ating mga isla sa Pilipinas and our various destinations across all of our regions for tourism development and promotions. And we are working with our fellow government agencies to improve infrastructure, connectivity, as well as the convenience of going around the Philippines, not to mention tourist safety.
Sec, hindi natin may ipagkakailan na yung Love the Philippines campaign contributed much in drawing in foreign tourists. So, ano po ba yung mga nakapaloob dito compared to the previous campaigns, tourism campaigns in the past? Ano po ba yung masasabi nating key or salient features ng campaign na ito na nakakaakit ng tourists sa ating bansa?
The Love the Philippines campaign is a call to action. First, for our fellow Filipinos to love their country, as we all should. And second, for tourists from around the world to discover the many reasons to love the Philippines. Meron po yung 4 na brand pillars, yung Love the Philippines. And the intention being that we provide tourists the opportunity to get to know the Philippines not only from the lens of fun and adventure, from which we have traditionally proceeded in terms of marketing the Philippines, but also and importantly, from the lens of our Filipino identity. Hindi pa natin nakikwento sa buong mundo kung sino ba talaga tayong mga Pilipino, ano ba talaga yung kultura natin, gaano ba kasarap yung pagkain natin, gaano ba kasaya na mag-travel sa Pilipinas when you are received with a distinct love and warmth that is so Filipino. So the components of the Love the Philippines campaign include promoting our award-winning island destinations as well as our emerging destinations, highlighting our immense biodiversity dahil yung Pilipinas po ay one of only 18 mega biodiverse countries in the world. We are also heavily promoting our festivals, our culture, our heritage, our indigenous communities, our traditions that continue to this day and would provide purposeful and experiential travel sa ating mga bisita. And importantly, we are also promoting our gastronomy, especially that from one region to another, napakasarap and napaka-diverse ng Filipino cuisine.
May kasabihan, actually, sabi ng ni Sek, may kasabihan sa China, sa Chinese, yung Pu Chu Chang Chang Fei Hao Han. You cannot be considered from as part of the Han ethnicity or Chinese if you haven't been to the Great Wall. So parang ibig sabihin, hindi ka Pilipino kung hindi mo kilala o alam yung mga tourist destinations mo. Ang dami nun.
So yun nga po, hindi rin po naman kaila na yung infrastructure development efforts ng DOT. So pwede niyo po bang i-share sa amin yung mga sustainable infrastructures na binigyang prioridad? Kasi kahapon guest po namin si Secretary Jimmy Bautista ng DOTR. Sinabi niya, maraming mga airports dito sa Pilipinas ang bubuksan na for international travels. So alin po din yung pinaka-priority ninyo?
Unang-una, Weng, maraming salamat for bringing up the matter of infrastructure. Because that is the foundation upon which the Philippines can arise as a tourism powerhouse. Kinakailangan talaga na bigyan natin ng pansin yung improvement ng tourism infrastructure sa Pilipinas if we are to be globally competitive. And that includes, of course, improvement of our gateways from our airports to our seaports and to land transportation. Kasama na rin po dyan yung accessibility sa ating mga destinations, our tourism roads across our provinces, cities, and municipalities. And of course, measures of connectivity by way of flights coming in and out and the like. And so, pinapasalamatan natin yung ating presidente dahil natuloy na talaga yung privatization of the NAIA airport, and which we anticipate will increase the volume of arrivals and also improve the experience of coming into the country. We're also grateful for all of the forthcoming PPPs in our island destinations that include Bohol, Dumaguete, Lagindingan in Mindanao, of course, all the way to Bicol as well, and to include several other gateways. No? Nakikita din natin na napaka-importante yung ating seaport infrastructure, especially now that the Philippines has been awarded as Asia's leading cruise destination and best port of call. And which is why we are very eagerly anticipating the construction of cruise ports across our destinations by the Philippine Ports Authority. Yung sa tourism road infrastructure, the Department of Tourism has consistently advocated na napaka-importante na meron tayong magagandang mga daanan papunta sa ating mga waterfalls, beaches, and other mountain resorts and the like, no? Naging mayor din po tayo bago maging secretary, and from there I realized and I saw for myself how important it is to provide accessibility, which opens up economic opportunities, no? And for the Tourism Road Infrastructure Program, we have worked with the DPWH, wherein under the President's administration, over 500 kilometers of tourism roads have been constructed. We are quite concerned, however, considering the reduction in the budget for tourism roads for 2025. So for 2024, over 15 billion pesos was devoted to the construction and rehabilitation of tourism roads, However, for 2025, this stands at only 6 billion pesos.
So dapat talaga synergistic yung activities at saka projects ng different departments like as Sec mentioned, DOTR, DPWH, DOT. Hingi na rin po kami ng update, Sec, regarding the rehabilitation efforts and projects ng DOT tulad nung sa Siargao. Kamusta na po yun?
Patuloy yung ating pakikipag-ugnayan sa ating mga local government units through our infrastructure arm, the Tourism Infrastructure Enterprise Zone Authority or TIEZA. And there are ongoing projects that cover our critical island destinations, especially in ensuring the safety of our tourists, pati na rin po yung quality of the tourism experience. I think what you mean with Siargao pertains to the power situation. Since the outage in the island, I have been closely working with Secretary Lotilia of the Department of Energy, as well as with the local stakeholders of Siargao through our regional office, kung saan we articulated the necessity of managing the power situation para hindi humaba yung power outage. And we are now also in talks with the DOE on exploring renewable energy options that TIEZA can extend to the island in order to ensure na mas sustained yung electricity nila doon. On the other hand, patuloy yung assistance natin to our LGUs in terms of the construction of tourist rest areas. Meron na tayong 32 constructed or ongoing. And for 2025, we are targeting around 60 more tourist rest areas for the Philippines that provide restrooms para sa ating mga turista, pasulubong center para makabenta naman yung ating mga small and medium enterprises sa mga local goods, and convenient lounge para sa ating mga turista. Kasama din po dyan yung ating tourist first aid facilities. Dahil napaka-importante na if there is an incident involving a tourist, merong medical assistance na ma-access right away. So we're working with the Department of Health, para mabigyan natin ng immediate and quality emergency assistance yung ating mga turista. This includes in island destinations such as Bohol, meron din po tayo sa La Union, that's forthcoming, and of course, we are also including Boracay and several other islands. Diving is one of the most popular tourism products of the country, with the Philippines having recently defended its title for the 6th year in a row as the world's leading dive destination. With that, binibigyan natin ng priority yung expansion of our dive tourism destinations. Meron na tayong 120 dive sites in the country.
Wow.
And the construction of additional hyperbaric chambers para sa mga destinasyon na ito to address any issues related to diving. With that, this year, magkakaroon tayo ng 5 new hyperbaric chambers in our dive sites that include Malapascua, under the jurisdiction of Daan Bantayan, where you can dive with the whale sharks.
There in Cebu.
Correct. We also have hyperbaric chamber forthcoming for Boracay, as well as for Camiguin. And as you can see, we also have forthcoming for Negros Oriental, specifically in Dawin, which is a very popular dive destination. And we are targeting Oriental Mindoro as well.
Actually, may pinuntahan akong dive shop before and may mga foreigners na sabi sa amin, ang ganda-ganda ng Pilipinas, and if you're a Filipino and you're not diving, you're missing a lot in your life. Yun ang sabi. Totoo naman, napakaganda ng ating dive sites. Anyway, mga prioridad din po ng pamahalaan yung digitalization, diba? So ano po yung initiatives noong 2024 na gusto nyong dalhin or improve pa ngayong 2025?
Pinapasalamatan natin yung administrasyon na priority talaga yung digitalization. Dahil napaka-importante nito to be globally competitive as a tourism nation. With that, the Department of Tourism launched the first ever Tourist Assistance Call Center. Yung call center na ito ay capable of receiving calls from tourists for any query or request for assistance that they may have, whether it's questions pertaining to our destinations or questions pertaining to medical or other related issues that we can then endorse to either the LGU or the government agency involved. With the launch of the Tourist Assistance Call Center, yung 151 Tour, nakatanggap na tayo ng thousands of calls from 70 countries, 70 nationalities. So this goes to show how important it is to give attention to the convenience of our tourists so that they feel safe and they feel that they can have someone to turn to while they're in the country. In addition to that, together with the Tourism Promotions Board, we have launched the Enhanced Travel Philippines mobile application. The Travel Philippines app provides an opportunity for those that are not in the country or are excited to explore the Philippines by providing information about all of our regions, whether it pertains to the physical destination or the tourism products, the experiences, and the like. Nandoon na rin yung mga upcoming events, festivals, and such for the year, and that also includes information that will allow them to contact our tourism stakeholders directly. Information on our accredited tour guides, travel agencies, tour operators, and the like. And this travel app has already garnered over 70,000 downloads, if I'm not mistaken, to date.
Mahalaga yun kasi ang pinaplano syempre ng mga turista yung kung hindi lang kung saan sila pupunta sa Pilipinas, kundi para ma-maximize din yung cultural experience nila habang nandito sila sa Pilipinas. Para naman, Sec, sa kaalaman ng ating mga kababayan, ano po ba yung mga initiative ng DOT para mapakilala bilang meetings, incentives, conferences, exhibitions o tourism destination ng ating bansa? Kasi gaya last year, yung DENR had the APMC DRR, and then we're hosting ASEAN in 2026.
Yes.
So, meetings destination at the same time, obviously, tourist destination. So, ano po yung initiatives natin?
Well, the Philippines is emerging as a preferred MICE destination in Asia, and this is quite evident with the major international events that we hosted last year. Kasama na dyan yung United Nations Tourism, very first regional gastronomy tourism forum for Asia and the Pacific, as well as the joint conference meetings of UN Tourism's Commission for Southeast Asia, as well as other regions. No? This convention and UN tourism event brought about through our collaboration with them, brought in delegates from over 40 countries. And it also resulted in the issuance of the Cebu Call to Action on Gastronomy Tourism, kung saan yung Pilipinas ay nakapagbigay ng kanyang mga policy frameworks together with our neighboring countries for the sustainable development of gastronomy tourism. In addition to that, we were also very happy to host the World Travel Awards Gala ceremony for Asia and Oceania, which also brought together nations that received awards, and with the Philippines having garnered no less than 8 very prestigious awards at that gala. Nag-host din tayo ng International Health and Wellness Tourism Congress, kung saan inimbitahan natin yung ating mga stakeholders and buyers from many jurisdictions around the world to discover the health and wellness tourism offerings of the country. With this, we have also hosted, for the very first time in 30 years since the Sea Trade Cruise Group started mounting these conferences, we hosted the Sea Trade Cruise Global Conference in the Philippines. This brought together cruise executives, owners, and stakeholders from all over the world. Nag-attend po yung ating presidente during the opening ceremony. And all of these cruise tourism stakeholders, of whom were unanimous in their expression of optimism para sa cruise tourism sa bansa. Dahil driven yung policies natin towards easing entry for cruise tourists in the country. With this, we launched together with the Department of Justice and the Bureau of Immigration the Cruise Visa Waiver Program, kung saan, since you are just staying for a few days in the country, you may avail of a group visa waiver through the Bureau of Immigration online. And we anticipate that this will further increase the number of cruise tourists to the country and benefit our island destinations.
Magandang balita po yan, Sec. So sa ating pagbabalik, pag-uusapan naman natin ang mga dapat abangan at tutukang programa ng DOT ngayong 2025. Kasama pa rin si Secretary Christina Frasco. Manatiling nakatutok, magbabalik ang Bagong Pilipinas ngayon.
For our next food crawl, tungong southern part of the Philippines naman tayo. Eats Fun goes to Cotabato City. Kasama ang certified foodie na si Leslie Ordinario para tikman ang pinagmamalaki ng crown jewel ng Bangsamoro region.
This is how you eat pastil. Let's go.
Eats Fun, ngayong linggo, alas 10 ng umaga.
Kailangan mo eh.
Dito lang sa PTV.
May mga nagsasabi na ang Pilipinas daw is a rich country pretending to be poor. Siguro hindi tama yun. We are actually a rich country which do not realize that we are rich. Mga kaibigan, samahan niyo po ako ng ating Tuklas Yaman.
Nagbabalik ang Bagong Pilipinas ngayon. Ngayong taon, Secretary, paano pa po paiigtingin ng DOT ang full recovery at targeted growth ng international arrivals sa bansa?
Committed po yung Department of Tourism to continue its relentless efforts para mabigyan ng pagkakataon yung ating mga destinations sa Pilipinas na mabisita ng ating mga turista, ma-promote at ma-develop with all the fundamentals necessary and is the priority of the Marcos administration. For 2025, our focus in tourism will not only be limited to tourism promotions, it will continue with tourism development and will include tourism investments. We are working with the private sector to ensure na mas dadami pa yung ating room keys sa Pilipinas with the construction of new accommodations, resorts, and hotels. And we are very grateful that the Philippine Hotel Owners Association has committed to work with us in implementing the Philippine Hotel Infrastructure Strategic Action Plan na na-launch natin to address the growth in room keys. Patuloy din po na bibigyan natin ng pansin yung ating mga programa that will highlight the culture of the Filipino, and that is through the continuation of our Philippine Experience programs. These are heritage, culture, and arts caravans na dinala na natin sa 11 regions so far, kung saan binibigyan natin ng pansin yung mga various components of the destination, including yung kanilang mga beaches and mountain destinations, their dive destinations, their heritage and pilgrimage destinations, and of course, yung kanilang mga festivals, traditions, yung songs, dances, indigenous rituals and traditions, and yung gastronomy din nila. So we fully intend to bring the Philippine Experience Program to all regions of the country. Magkakaroon din tayo ng additional na mga tourist rest areas, yung malinis, maganda at mabango na restrooms para sa ating mga turista all over the country, with 10 constructed, 22 ongoing, and 60 more forthcoming for various LGUs in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. We will also be constructing the tourist first aid facilities in various islands in the country to improve the tourist experience. And we are adding the hyperbaric chambers for diving across our islands. And of course, we are also making sure na patuloy yung ating assistance to our local government units in terms of funding for tourism infrastructure. With that, we will begin to see tourism infrastructure arise that were the product of our Tourism Champions Challenge. Yung inisyatiba na to ay in partnership with the DOT and TIEZA, kung saan yung ating presidente mismo yung nagbigay ng 255 million in total na funding assistance sa ating mga LGUs na nag-propose ng tourism infrastructure. This also spans across the entire country. The Philippines will also have an opportunity to be featured on the global stage at the Osaka World Expo 2025, wherein the Philippines is mounting a pavilion with the theme Woven, featuring the weaving traditions and weaving communities of the country and all of the regions of the Philippines and the highlights of these destinations, including the sites, the products, and the like. We are also very excited that on the aspect of gastronomy tourism, the Philippines has been awarded the privilege of hosting the Terra Madre Asia Pacific 2025. And this will be held in the city of Bacolod. So napaka-exciting po nito dahil magbibigyan ng oportunidad yung ating mga local chefs, farmers, suppliers, and the like ng oportunidad na ma-promote yung kanilang slow food practices and the sources of these gastronomic delights, no? And in addition to that, we are also very excited to expand our cruise tourism portfolio. Our drive is to add to the 40 existing cruise tourism destinations sa Pilipinas. Together with that is the expansion of our dive tourism program. In the Philippines, we have exceptional dive destinations. But the beauty of this is also that after you dive, ang dami mo pang pwede ma-discover. Kaya, we launched the Philippine Dive Experience, kung saan bibigyan natin ng sustainable tourism component yung dive activity, magkakaroon ng coastal cleanup and the like. And bibigyan natin ng mga turista ng opportunity na ma-discover ano ba yung heritage ng lugar na yan, ano ba yung masarap na pagkain, ano ba yung mga communities that are surrounding the dive area. That will also be mimicked by our golf tourism experience program, where we will be heavily pushing for the promotion and development of our golf tourism destinations in the country. And with that, we are further diversifying our tourism products para mas gagastos pa yung ating mga turista, they will stay longer, and that they will keep coming back. Because currently, nakikita natin na yung mga turista na pumupunta sa Pilipinas, they stay an average of 11 nights from the 9 nights in 2019, and 70% of them or more are repeat visitors.
Yun ang mahalaga, Sec, is repeat visitors at saka yung gumastos sila while they are here. So maraming salamat po sa mga ibinahagi ninyong impormasyon, Secretary Frasco.
Maraming salamat. Daghang kayong salamat.
Samantala, malinaw naman na noon at ngayon, malaki ang pagsisikap ng Department of Tourism na maisakatuparan ng iba't ibang programa kagaya ng iba pang ahensya. Sa ating segment na ito, ma'am, mission to accomplish, ano pa po ang gusto ninyong maisakatuparan para sa mas maunlad na turismo ng bansa?
Para sa akin, no, having been a local chief executive, napaka-importante talaga ng infrastruktura. Dahil kung hindi natin maangat yung kalidad ng infrastruktura ng Pilipinas in terms of tourism, napakahirap mag-compete with our neighbors in the ASEAN at least, and with the rest of the world. And so our wish list is that our airport infrastructure continues to improve, the airport experience continues to be enhanced, mas dadami pa yung development of our regional airports para naman mas marami pang mga domestic flights na mamamount, no, in our island destinations. And of course, we are also very eager for the implementation of the VAT refund mechanism, no?
Parang sa ibang bansa.
Na-sign na po ni Presidente yung VAT refund mechanism law, and we are now working with the Department of Finance para ma-implement ito to make the Philippines a very attractive shopping tourism destination. We're also eager to ensure that the electronic visa system for the Philippines ay ma-launch ng maayos, and that it can be implemented in the same manner that our neighbors have done, and globally. And same with our neighbors globally. And so, napakalaki kasi ng challenge na ito para sa atin, no? Unless and until we have removed our barriers to entry in terms of the ease of obtaining a visa, it's very difficult in terms of attracting more tourists to come to the country.
Ayan, sana dito sa wishlist ni Sec merong ma-accomplish at mukha namang may ma-accomplish. Pero sa ngayon, mission accomplished tayo. Maraming salamat po muli sa inyo, Department of Tourism Secretary Christina Garcia Frasco. At dito po nagtatapos ang ating programa sa araw na ito.
Samahan niyo po kami uli sa Lunes para sa mahalagang talakayan at mabilis na aksyon ng pamahalaan. Mula sa Presidential Communications Office, ako po si Weng Hidalgo.
At mula rin sa Presidential Communications Office, ako po si Joey Villarama. Sama-sama tayo para sa isang bagong Pilipinas ngayon.